What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're continuing the Countdown to Doomsday series by revisiting one of the most important movies in the entire MCU. That, of course, is Captain America Civil War. And the crazy part, we're officially 7 months away today from Avengers Doomsday. And also, this movie is 10 years old. It honestly is crazy to think about. We pick up with the Avengers doing a mission in Lagos to try to tie up some loose ends. Things go wrong again when Wanda accidentally causes civilian deaths while trying to stop Crossbones, aka Rumlow. Of course, that was only the latest in the list of catastrophes. We've got New York, Washington, D.C., and Sokovia, just to name a few. That leads to the government, and of course, Thaddeus Ross, introducing the Sokovia Accords, basically putting the Avengers under the nation's control. And immediately the team splits apart. Tony supports the Accords because he's finally starting to feel the weight of all the damage they've caused. And Steve, on the other hand, he completely disagrees because he doesn't trust the government, and he certainly doesn't trust them to decide when they should act or not. And honestly, this movie does a really good job of making both sides understandable. Just as soon as you fully buy into Iron Man, Captain America makes a great point. They make sure that both sides are balanced in their beliefs, and you don't hate one side.
Tony, you chose to do that. If we sign this, we surrender our right to choose.
Meanwhile, we're introduced to Baron Zemo, one of the most underrated villains in the MCU, honestly, because unlike most villains, Zemo isn't trying to conquer the world. He's trying to destroy the Avengers from inside, and he basically does that. After the bombing of the UN kills King T'Chaka, Bucky becomes the prime suspect, which pulls now King T'Challa into the conflict as well. And from there, the movie basically turns into a massive manhunt. Steve refuses to abandon Bucky. Tony thinks Steve is making everything worse. The Avengers start choosing sides, and the tension just keeps building. Eventually, everything leads to the airport scene, and even 10 years later, this scene is still incredible. Not just because it's fun, but because for most, it's the first time the MCU truly feels like the comics were ripped straight out of the pages onto the screens in front of us. Spider-Man showing up, Giant Man, Rhodey almost dying, the entire sequence somehow balances humor, action, and emotional stakes all at once. And even though the movie is darker overall, the scene still has that classic MCU energy.
All right, I ran out of patience. On to ruse!
But then the movie shifts completely in tone once Tony discovers the truth about his parents, that Bucky, while brainwashed by Hydra, killed them. And the final fight between Tony, Steve, and Bucky is still one of the most emotional fights in the MCU because it doesn't feel like a superhero battle anymore. It feels personal. There's no world-ending threat, no alien invasion. It's just broken friendships completely falling apart. And that final shot of Steve leaving the shield behind, it's a perfect ending.
That shield doesn't belong to you.
Rewatching this movie now, what surprised me the most is how mature it feels compared to other MCU films. This really is an Avengers movie disguised as a Captain America movie, but somehow it still works as Steve Rogers' story first. And that honestly is impressive considering how many characters are in this thing. Almost everybody gets a moment. Tony has one of the best MCU performances here. T'Challa gets an incredible introduction. Spider-Man is Spider-Man. I mean, do I need to say more? Zemo is great, and Steve himself feels like the emotional backbone of the entire movie. The action still holds up. The hand-to-hand combat feels brutal and grounded, especially compared to some of those CGI-heavy movies that we will see later in the MCU. And the emotional conflict actually matters because both sides genuinely believe they're right. That's what makes the movie work. This isn't a villain side and a hero side. It's ideology versus ideology, trust versus accountability, freedom versus oversight.
He's my friend. So was I.
Now, with all that said, I still don't think it's a perfect movie. I mean, there's moments where some characters feel a little underused. How could they not? And sometimes it does feel like the movie is juggling a lot. How could it not? But overall, it's absolutely one of the strongest MCU movies. And honestly, I appreciate it way more than I did back in 2016. It's funny too because I genuinely think that my viewing experience was affected by just being in a bad mood at the time. I liked it in theaters, but I left them feeling underwhelmed. It really shows you how your mindset in a moment can completely change how you connect with a movie. Because after all of the rewatches since, I love it every single time. Without this movie, we don't get Infinity War and we don't get Endgame. At the very least, they're certainly very different movies if we do. And who knows, maybe Doomsday starts pulling some of these same ideas about fractured heroes and divided teams. I know we're going to see Robert Downey Jr. versus Chris Evans again. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Captain America Civil War. What were your out-of-theater thoughts? And now 10 years later, what do you think? And where would you rank it in the overall grand scheme of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe and stick around for the rest of the Countdown to Doomsday series, of course, as we are trying to hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers before the release of that film. We've got a long road ahead, but I still think we can get there. We thank you for watching today's episode, and now that you've got some time, you can go refill that popcorn bucket.